So we go back and take a look at what happened through a pretty exciting full hour of qualifying. So a few early offs and abouts there. The number 99 Aston Martin, they've been in the wars so far to date. This weekend, this was the biggest moment that brought the red flag out, the Darrell Lee Mazda V8 Mark Racing Cars entry. And saw a tweet from that team early before saying, we think we can get it fixed. Yeah, this was drama. We were talking about the Italian gesturing going on. That was why, because it's very difficult to get that car on the trailer, and the rear wheels very much locked on the Vicious Rumor Racing Ferrari. And they didn't return to the circuit, did they, John?
No,
so
they,
I think
they didn't.
Didn't complete a lap. Didn't complete a lap in the session, I'm afraid. That spin right at the end of the lap as the number 68 Porsche was looking to make an improvement.
Cost them an improvement there. Phoenix guys, though, were very impressive in the first part of the session. Laurent Vantour in the 15 Phoenix Audi, looking like he'd got himself tied down again. Ferraris, it's a Ferrari track, said JP, and he should know. He's driven one around here.
Last year. Yep. So we're looking good for qualifying coming up in less than 5 minutes' time. Qualifying means something special at this place. One lap, 6.213 kilometres, and drive it as hard and as fast as you can possibly go. And remember, the prize at the end is a very nice piece of silverware, but it's not so much about the trophy, it's about the name attached to it. The Allan Simonsen Pole Award. It was emotional last year. It came down to the final 3 minutes of qualifying with a brilliant final lap by Maro Engel to take Erebus Motorsport to pole position.
Who have put themselves right back in the mix with Austin Cindric in the last 15 minutes of the outright session. But now the spaceships get the chance to roam the galaxy that is Mount Panorama on their own without the considerable hindrance, in fairness, of some of the slower cars. Now, they'll trip themselves up, I've got no doubt about this, because no matter how few cars you have on a track, there is this phenomenon that we call clumping. They have managed to find each other somehow. It's a gravitational force, I believe, one that Isaac Newton didn't quite map and get the equations for. It will be interesting to see, however, gentlemen, just how the guys play the tactics here. And the guys going out early might not be doing themselves a disservice here, because if there's a bit of game playing and then somebody has an off and there's a red flag, all bets are off.
The other thing to keep in mind is the soft tyre option that we've got this year. Quite Formula One spec soft tyre, but there are 3 compounds available for teams from both Michelin and Pirelli. And a lot of the teams, Pirelli team I spoke to before the session, said we've got a set of the softest possible compounds saved. These temperatures are a little bit outside the window for that tyre to operate at its absolute best. By that I mean the track temp is a little bit too hot. They run the risk of overheating the soft rubber in the tyre. However, they go out early, and if you bring it in gradually, use 2 or 3 laps to get your tyres up to their operating temperature, and then go and do a 2:02.9 for pole, that will be okay, and that might be what their strategy is for this session.
2 points I want to make here. I don't think we'll be writing any headlines before the checkered flag, and possibly not even at the checkered flag. It might be guys coming round on a sneaky lap that they've started a couple or 3 seconds before the checker comes out. And the second thing is, it's all the class cars. It's all the A-class cars that are out. This is not a top 10 shootout. It's not a pole position reverse. It's everybody out. You can go out now, you can sit and wait, you can play the long game. The tactics are in, and we're already 3 minutes into this session, and no one has yet put in a representative lap because of them coming out the pits and starting their out lap. And the Lamborghini heading up the hill right now is the first one to have a crack at it, and that is David Russell, who is at the wheel.
He'll be a contender, no doubt. Massive speed in this car yesterday in practice.
Oh, and he's on the power so early, coming up through the cutting, and he's got clear track ahead of him. He'll be loving this little dab on the brakes to settle the car down before the left-hander going uphill across the rise.
Vanthor will be the first one to set a representative lap time in this session. Now, remember, we may already know the grid, because if they don't go any faster than they went in the session before, they will not improve. So basically, it's the times we had before plus what they do in this session. So whether they go, if they go faster, this time will count. If they don't, the time they sent in the session earlier on today.
Here's some names to get ready for. Jack LeBrock is out in the 36 Erebus motor car, and then Austin Cindric in the 63. It's Katsumasa Chiyo in the Nissan, the 35 GTR. A little bit of weaving coming down the straight. This is just to make sure the tyres are clean. It doesn't really impart any extra heat into it.
So all we need to know is the time, and this time, 2:04.2191. If they do not go faster than that in this session, pole will go to Christopher Meese, Mark Senior, Mark Eddy in the number 9 car. If they go faster, it's game on, and this session will chop and change. So that's the time, 2:04.2. I think we'll go quicker than that because there is a lot more up the sleeves of these cars than what we've already seen today.
Well, Laurent Vantour has just gone through in that 2:04.98. That does not improve his time from the previous session.
Fantastic look out at the front of the Class A 32 Lamborghini. David Russell on board, heading toward Hell Corner. Oh, he brakes impossibly late there. He's just defied the laws of physics. I was expecting him to see him go straight on up the escape road. He was nowhere near where I thought he'd brake. These guys are otherworldly on there, heading up Mountain Straight. One or two people slightly confused about the regulations. Listen, it's dead easy. This is just another qualifying session for the Class A cars. It's as simple as that. Either they improve from the last time or they don't, but they're getting some time on the track on their own. It's not a shootout. It's not a reverse. It's not adding the times together. Its best time will be pole position. That best time could have been set in the last session, or it could be set in this one. You'd expect it to be set in this one because the track is a little clearer. But we're not clearing off those times that have already been set. That's why 2:04.421 is important.
Landa goes quickest in this session. That improves his overall time from 5th to 4th in the order. 2:04.42, good enough to edge him up from 5th to 4th, but not good enough to grab pole position.
And the first big improver is Kevin Estra, who's done a 2:04.5 in the Darrell Lee McLaren, only 13th fastest in the first session with a 5.9. And they were keeping their powder dry and not doing too much work on outright lap time, but just trying to get the car right for this session because they feel like they've got a crack at pole position here. So Estra jumps up the order and that bumps him to 4th place. Great job overall. David Russell's going very quickly, fastest of all to the first split. Vanthor fastest of everybody to the second and to the top with a 2:03.5. There's the first benchmark. That's the first marker laid down. Forget the 2:04.2 we saw earlier. That's a representative lap time.
And that, ding dong, is the fastest time in this combined qualifying session. So that is provisional pole for Laurens Vanthoor, as we saw in that last session.
Russell
2:03.1 in the Lambo. And that is, again, the gauntlet being thrown down. We saw Vanthoor in the Phoenix car, Graham, do exactly the same in the first session. And then he dropped back a little bit, then he had another go at it. I wonder if he'll be saving some rubber for later on.
Well, from now on in, I think I'm right, gentlemen, that anything we scream into this mic is going to be another lap record, because that is a lap record for a GT car.
Fastest ever GT lap here, absolutely right.
Lap records can only be set in a race, Graham.
Interesting to note, though, that the Lamborghini gave away 0.8 of a second to the Audi across the top of the mountain. 0.8 of a second across the top, from the cutting to the elbow. The difference was 0.8, but Russell was still able to set the fastest lap of qualifying. So that's the difference. And we've spoken about this all weekend long, that these cars produce their speed in different ways, and that is a perfect example of that.
Down through the Falcon elbow with the Nissan GTR. Gee, it's good to see that back on the mountain, isn't it?
Well, where are they at the moment? No improvement so far, and Chiyo behind the wheel of the Nissan GTR.
First flying lap.
Jack LeBrock moves the 36 car up the order and does a 2:04.3015.
Super late on the brakes, Crailsey, for Chiyo as he comes through the Michelin Chase and into that tricky little chicane put in there a few years ago under the Liqui-Moly bridge and down towards Maguire's corner. I've got a feeling well, if this is not a great lap, he's going to get a great start onto the start of the next one. Soaring away at the wheel.
3-2 for Chiyo. Second. Goes to second. Great lap. And word through from spotters on top of the mountain. Thanks, Aaron Noonan. David Russell had a big moment in front of him at the S's on his hot lap, so that explains the 0.8 of a second difference across the top. There's more to come from car 32. Chiyo with the fastest third sector of everybody. Theoretically, if you put the best sectors from everybody together, the pole laps are 2:02.2.
Oh my good grief.
Van Thor third, 3 cars in the 2:03. So Russell with a 3:1, Chio with a 3:2, Van Thor with a 3:5 for Audi. Verlander has improved, done a 4:0 in the wall. The Nissan has backed it hard into the wall at the cutting. Damage to the right rear corner of the Nissan GTR.
He's got away with that. He has got away with it. He's got damage, but it's not significant in terms of sitting up all night and having it done. He just drops the right rear lens of the outside circular rear light off as he goes up the hill. Now that's going to be a difficult car to drive. He was on for another quick lap there, guys. He's deranged the bodywork, but I think the suspension looks okay. It's cosmetic. Get some multicolored tape out. He was just trying slightly too hard.
He lost that early, didn't he, in the corner? He lost it very early in the corner. Back broke away on him.
It would have done more damage than it would look there, and I imagine with 10 minutes to go that is the end of his qualifying run. So I'd suggest you take the 35 car out of the equation for pole. Track temp 57 degrees, the hottest we've seen it all weekend. Air temp 29.
Here's what I reckon. They'll get it in, they'll put the rear valance off. If it's straight, they'll send them out again. It'll be lighter and more aerodynamically efficient.
So Russell, Chio, Van Thor, Verlander, Rugolo. That is Lamborghini, Nissan, Audi, Ferrari.
There is one worry about that, is that's got a trials axle on that car. The Nissan GTR in street trim is the only four-wheel drive car that I'm aware of that's got a transaxle, and of course that means you can put a transaxle in the GT3 car as well. And that, well, he's lost part of the rear valance now. It has actually fallen off of its own accord. My worry there would be that he's crushed the exhaust, and that's costing him power and the engine breathing. That's an easy fix, but with 9 minutes left, I mean, they might not get that car out. The rest of the car looks pretty straight. He banged that fairly straight on the rear valance, you know, Crailsey. They're not going back out again.
They won't be on pole, will they?
No.
Kevin Estra improves. The McLaren goes to 6th with a 2:04.1. So net gain there for those guys to the tune of about 10 positions so far this session.
And the top 6 in this session have all beaten the provisional pole time from Christopher Mies in the last session. Mies has not improved so far. So Christopher Mies is someone we should be looking for to improve in the last 8.5 minutes remaining of this session. As the Nissan slowly wakes its way back to the pit lane. But what he's certainly prevented us from having is a red flag there.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
well done to Massa for bringing...
So let's go down to pit lane briefly with 8 to go in the session. Shay Adams down at the Nissan camp.
Well, Florian Strauss, that's not the way you wanted to see your qualifying session end, but Chio was on a great lap before. What was he reporting that happened?
I didn't know. I unfortunately don't have the team radio on my head, but yeah, he put in a pretty good lap the lap before, and I think he was really, maybe having a run on the first sector, and then we saw many cars, I think, yesterday and today, especially in this turn going off. Seems to be very tricky there, and yeah, unfortunately lost it, but we have a good lap time in. That's a good point. The car, the team have to look how much damage is on the car, but that's how it is in qualifying. When you want to be on pole position, you have to go high risk, and then I think, yeah, unfortunately, we're a little bit bad luck in this corner as well as other teams as well. So yeah, we now have to see how the car is in shape. But the lap time so far is good, so hopefully, we stay in the first row. That would be a good start, but of course, it's big job now ahead for the team to prepare the car for tomorrow's race.
The car's already made its way back, and the team has begun reparations.
The Michelin track temperature is 57, and in the air it's 29. That's degrees Celsius, by the way. It's body damage. They're having a look underneath to see if there's any transmission or suspension damage with 6.5 to go. The car's not going back out, but that is not a massively late night for those guys. They'll hammer out the rear quarter panels, make sure that the valance fits on. Probably a new exhaust, as I said, on the back of that as the Audi number 9 comes down towards the end of the lap and starts to wind up. This is Chris Mies at the wheel of the Audi R8. No, he's pitting.
Changing the order while we were down in pit lane. JH, we saw Stefan Mucker go to 5th, immediately beaten, go to 4th, immediately beaten for that spot by Michele Rugolo in the AF Corsa Ferrari, who did a very good 2:03.84. and dropped into 4th place. So Mooka back to 5th.
And we've seen a number of incidents, haven't we, at the cutting. We saw the Bentley go off yesterday, Ivo Brukis going off today, and then Katsumiya Chio going off. And that, it was like, if the cars had been the same colour, you would have thought that was exactly the same shunt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vanthor back out on the track. Rugolo on the circuit. Mooka in 5th in pit lane. Verlander in 6th is in the lane. Estra in the McLaren is 7th and in pit lane. So too the fastest man of the session so far, David Russell, and of course the Nissan new tyres going on car 9.
That's Chris Vermees.
He is out of there.
Stephen Kane improves, 2:04.5 for the Bentley, but that's only good enough for 9th position for the quickest of the 3 Continental GT3s.
It strikes me that to do a 4.5 and be only 10th is utterly remarkable, because if you were talking about doing 4s at this place 3 years ago, you'd have to have your head read.
When I first came here, 4s were lap of the gods type of territory, weren't they?
Vanthor's on here too. JH, personal best first sector for the number 15 Audi. Yeah, 4s would have been remarkable. The track resurfacing helped, but just the development in GT cars is
Look at the interest in the pit lane. The photographers huddled around the Nismo, which is moving under its own steam. Now, I'd be surprised if that goes back out again, but it would see that it's going on in another segment. Vantua is on it again. He's at the top of the mountain at the moment in the 15 car, the Phoenix car with the Kangaroo on the side. And he'll be coming across a little bit of traffic as the Airbus Mercedes is not that far ahead of him at the moment. Jacques Lebrock in that car.
Here's
and
the
here
Audi.
is Mees. Good spot by the guys. Picking him up into the Michelin chase. And down through the final part of the circuit.
What can he do? Fastest earlier on today. This car's been at the top of the order.
What's the fastest
all
ever
weekend long.
around here?
2.6. He's got a lot to do. Vanthor into the final corner, onto the start, finish straight. Does he go fastest? Yes, he does. 2:02.5. That is a massive lap time for the Audi. And destroys the rest of the field. 0.6 of a second.
And that is a qualifying record, remember, a qualifying record, that's not in a race.
Still the fastest ever lap recorded around here.
Well, no, that was in a McLaren F1 with Jensen Button.
No timing there. That was timed by iPhone.
Well, it was quicker than that, whatever it was. If you're going to start saying that that's a lap record, you can take anything that goes round. It's a qualifying record only.
Is that the Vocro car?
Correct, it is. Max Twig behind the wheel, 26th fastest with a 2:08.7. And no massive improvement for them. And the red flag's out. That'll be qualifying. That's it.
And, oh my goodness, it's all going wrong for people at the moment.
What a lap from Lawrence Vanthor. 2:02.55 for Audi.
Think he can do that tomorrow from Paul?
Well,
lap, start the race, cool tyres. Then I'd be impressed. Then I'd be very impressed. But let's put that in perspective. Although that's not a lap record, it's a qualifying record. It is the quickest time we've ever seen across the mountain here. And he's taken that from an F3 car that's probably half the weight of the car that has just achieved that lap time. All right, let's head back down to the pit lane. Mark, what do you got?
Well, Dave Russell, we've been watching you all day, just get quicker and quicker and better, mate. A great lap time. P2 at the moment.
Yeah, look, it's great. We came in on that first run, and you know, the 2:03.1's as quick as I've ever been around here, and I thought, oh, that's pretty good. But I said to the guys, look, there's more in it. I think we need to make a tyre pressure adjustment or just change the balance of the car a little bit, and we discussed it, and I said, guys, you know, at that stage we're on top, and it's sort of risk versus reward a little bit too, you know. Why risk the car? You're already up the pointy end. Why risk, you know, having a drama in qualifying when the ideal thing is to start and finish the race? Because you know, it's hauling around here. I tell you what, when you're doing those sorts of times, and look, the JBS Lambo's been running faultlessly all week. Fingers crossed we have a good run. We've had some wretched luck around here, but I've got a good feeling. You know, it's gonna turn around tomorrow. That's for sure.
Well, you probably owed some good luck after last year. That was pretty tough.
absolutely, yeah. It was very disappointing, and you know, life throws you those things not only in your career, but you just move on, get on with it, and you know, it's full credit to Roger Largo and all the team of guys. Like they've dust themselves off, get ready to go, and yeah, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, good. No kangaroos this year. Touch wood. How much quicker? You talk about continual improvement. How much quicker can the number 32 car be?
Oh, I think we could have done a 2, there. We did a 3-1, and I think there was probably a couple of areas over the top. There was a few areas where I could have pushed on a little bit, and I just wasn't confident in the right rear tyre. We just had to make a pressure adjustment, look, there would have been a bit in it, so definitely would have been in the 2s, no doubt.
Dave, you've done a great job out there. Good to see the big smile on the face again, and enjoy tomorrow, that front row of the grid.
Hopefully I'm smiling like this tomorrow afternoon.
Good luck, mate. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's like that all the time. He was the same when he was in the booth. The red flag is still waving at the start-finish. We haven't seen a checker thrown yet, and there's still 3 minutes and 19 seconds on the timing screen in front of me. And I think this is going to be a one-lap dash for cash here, guys.
Cars are moving from the pit apron.
Now, what I don't know is, did Chio go back out again in that Nissan? I think he did, with the damage on the rear end. He's got a couple of long sector times, as if he'd gone back around. There's some slapping of hands, and congratulations there, Stefano Telli.
I think the way the timing monitor has cleared, I'm suggesting that the session has been ended.
Haven't seen a checker yet. I'm still looking to the start-finish line.
It's going to be a long recovery, though. That car stuck up at Griffin's Bend at turn 2. So
well, the cars are moving to Parc Fermé now, is what we're hearing.
Which means that is qualifying done and dusted. And the number 15 Audi that has been there or thereabouts since first practice yesterday will be on pole position. And it really is a case of the Empire strikes back. They struggled last year, Audi, for outright pace at Mount Panorama, but they are back. And they are back with the fastest ever lap we've seen here. A 2:02.55 by one of the great superstars of GT racing globally, Laurens Vanthoor. Pole position for the Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12-hour alongside his teammates Marcus Winkelhock and Marco Mappelli. Second will be the JBS Racing Lamborghini Gallardo GT3. David Russell did the time. The gap was 0.6 of a second. Roger Largo and Steve Owen are his teammates. And for the Nissan Global Athlete team, Florian Strauss, Wolfgang Reep and Katsumasa Chio, third place, despite the crash at the end.
Yeah.
Third place for the Nissan GTR, which is an outstanding performance and a highly entertaining couple of hours of qualifying.
I'm being slightly greedy here, but if Chio hadn't gone off and we hadn't had the stop, what a battle we would have had, and how much quicker might they have gone?
It would have been exciting, John. It would have been extremely exciting.
That's the entree, if you like. The main course is tomorrow. Join us from early doors here in Australia. We'll be on the air, bringing you all the build-up, and our Nismo Countdown to Green on RadioLeMans.com starts at 6:30, and at 6:50 we go racing. 6:50 5:50 in the morning, isn't it? I'm doing it on English time there. So an hour earlier than that, we're going to get about half an hour of darkness running, and we'll start at 5:50 Australian time with the green flag. For those of you back in Europe, that's nicely into the evening hours. And you can join us on the live stream if you're here in Australia, and it's 7, mate. And then, of course, Channel 7 for the rest of the day. Confirmation then of that new fastest time ever in competition across the mountain, 2:02.5 for the Darragh overall in our Michelin rundown for the 15 Audi. Laurens Vanthoor at the wheel. David Russell so close at 3-1, and you don't get pole position. How's you look there, David? Sorry, mate. Katsumasa Chio in third position for Nissan. We'll have Davide Rigon, 77, sitting alongside him. They're both in the 203s, as is Stefan Mucker for the first of the Aston Martins on the inside of row 3, and Tony Villander, the first in the 204s, is only in 6th position. Jack LeBrock on the inside of the 4th row. And, of course, the pole positions were set for the other classes earlier on. A cracking couple of hours and brought to a perfect point by the last 20 minutes. Crailsey, I'm not sure we'll see anything like this again here, because the gods have aligned to provide us with perfect conditions in that 20-minute qualifying shootout.
Heck of a lap, wasn't it? And a heck of a session too, as the Hallmark car just shortcutted the S's at the top of Mount Panorama. This was a Nissan. They were in contention, we thought, for this one, but then Chio had this issue at the cutting in similar style to the Mazda V8 we saw earlier on today, damage to the rear, and that car returned to pit lane, but nevertheless, they will start third tomorrow. The Trass Ferrari issues pulled off to the side of Mountain Straight. They were 16th in that session with a 5-0 for Johnny McIntyre. But this was the moment. A great lap by Vantor. Not spectacular in the first sector. His middle segment was great. His final sector was epic. And he banged in a 2:05.52 for pole.
Now, we said, didn't we, after that first 1 hour of qualifying, what a great lap that was from Christopher Meese. Just to emphasise how great that last 20 minutes was. Christopher Meese did not improve, ended up 9th in that session. That's quite astonishing stuff from the pro drivers.
Can you hear me?
Shay Adam in the
We're
Phoenix
here with
Racing
Bruce
Garage.
Morrison for the Liqui-Moly Pole Award. It's the Allan Simonsen Trophy, the fastest man to go around this mountain until today. We've had a couple of lap times that have beat him in qualifying times. Bruce, you're holding the trophy. You're getting ready to give it. Last year it was to Maro Engel. Today it's to Lawrence Vantor. What's running through your mind?
Well, isn't it fantastic? Allan Simonsen's a special place in everybody's heart here. So it does add significance for the win. It's great to see an Audi right up there. Phoenix looked very, very serious all weekend. He's been threatening the whole time. It's great when someone can pull that really fast lap together right when you need it. Fantastic job.
It was an exciting qualifying session, and we were just talking about how the times were dropping and that every little inch was coming out of those cars, and it was ultimately an Audi who came out first.
Yeah, everyone's pushing the ragged edge there, aren't they? And I think when you're close to pole, it's a very dangerous time because I think you always think there's a bit more in the car, and sometimes there isn't. And it's very tempting to step over the line, I guess, and that's why these guys are great at what they do, because they need to know right where that line is and stay on the right side of it, keep it off the walls, because you need a race car fully intact for tomorrow, right?
Well, and today it was Lawrence Vantor who comes away with that perfect line walking of qualifying session. He managed to get the most out of his car, and we're just waiting for Lawrence to arrive. But in the meantime, he's going to start first. We have a Lamborghini starting second and a Nissan starting third. Liqui-Moly's got to be over the moon about the ambassadors of brands that are here represented.
Well, that's what GT3 racing is all about, isn't it? The variety of the cars. It's fantastic to have someone in the twos, you know, considering threes are awfully fast, so twos are very, very electric around here. So it's what we love. We want the variety at the front of the field. GT racing is all about that.
And as I'm sure you can hear from the big round of applause behind us, Lawrence has arrived, and he will be given this beautiful pole trophy, the Al, if you will. And Lawrence, congratulations for that perfect lap around the mountain. New qualifying lap record. Walk us through it.
Yeah, it's quite an honor to have a lap record at such a track as Mount Panorama, so I'm awfully really proud, and it's been a team effort. We worked really well until now, and well, the Audi has proven it's strong here with 2 past victories recently. So I think we have the package together with Marcus and Mark to fight for the win tomorrow.
Well, it's a good place to start from first, and most of the time you don't get a trophy for winning pole, but today you do, and you get this beautiful award, the Al. And what's that mean to you?
It means very much to me. It really does to get this trophy, especially because the trophy itself means a lot. So it's a real honor to get that.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We'll have you go ahead and hand over the award to Mr. Vantor.